Hello, everybody. Welcome to our review session of Dice Throne. Matt and I have just played this game, and the good guys lost. Evil once again reigns.
Yep, the evil tactician really took it to the Seraph, so you guys can check out that play video on Bryant's channel.
Yeah. And today we're just going to discuss a little bit about how we feel about the game, what we like, what we didn't like, and etc. So I guess I'll go first.
Sure.
So we're going to start with what was our favorite aspect of this game. And I think for me, my favorite aspect is, I like how they took the Yahtzee rules and applied it into a combat mechanic. So I think most of us have played Yahtzee growing up, so we're kind of familiar with the basic mechanics of this game. But what I like is they've taken Yahtzee, which is kind of a generic, flavorless sort of a game, and they've made it into a kind of a very exciting, dynamic combat system.
Yeah. And I think to expand on that point, the fact that it is kind of Yahtzee rules means that it's a common rule set that a lot of people understand, and it means that the game becomes very easy to teach.
Yeah.
Yeah. For my favorite aspect of the game is actually the uniqueness of the characters. You'll see here we've got Dice Throne Season 1, we've got Dice Throne Season 2. Each one of them has 8 characters in it, and all 8 of those characters do have a unique little feel to them. They have their own status effects. There are some duplicates here and there, but for example, the Seraph in the game that we played could get out Holy Presence. The Tactician does a lot with his Tactical Advantage, which gives him a lot of little mini perks, if you will. And I think that aspect of the game is really fun when the characters feel unique, right? So you pick up a new character and it's a different game every time.
Thank you. And the least favorite aspect, I think we might agree on this.
Okay, what's your least favorite aspect
so I
of the
think
game?
with me, and again, this is limited number of plays for me, but yeah, I found just with my hand of cards, there was very little I ever got to do with them. And I think a lot of that was luck of the draw. They were very helpful when a useful card came up. But we were kind of discussing, it would be very nice if you had a way to rotate your cards, but it would throw off the balance with some of the characters a little bit.
Yeah, you get into some of the characters, and I've played through, I think, every character now, and there's the Shadow Thief from Season 1 really plays a lot with their cards, and it's actually really fun to play with the cards. And yeah, to mirror Bryant, my least favorite aspect is really that deck of cards. They're really fun when you get the right cards, and it's a really neat aspect, but even in the game that we just played, we only went through a dozen out of the 40 cards or something like that. It just feels like I want to get more into the card. I want more value out of that deck of cards, and I just don't get it most of the time when I play this game, and it's unfortunate, but I don't think it detracts too much from the game, but it can really leave you feeling like, okay, all I'm doing is rolling the dice.
Yeah, I had like 4 cards in my hand I just couldn't use the entire game. So
you had 4 cards you couldn't use. I burned all of my hand in the first round, and I'm basically playing the one card that I draw every turn. It's like, okay, it's getting played, but I have no options. I have no modification that I feel like I would want from those cards.
All right.
Okay.
Overall impression, I actually thought this game was a lot of fun. So again, it's an easy mechanic to pick up, and even though there's so many different characters, the basic principle is the same. So it's really just a matter of reading your character sheet and seeing what you can do when you roll the dice. So it's real easy, I think, to pick up and introduce to people who aren't really into heavy games. And it was fairly quick. Yeah. And again, setting your starting life total, you can sort of adjust the game length. So if you want something that's fast, you just lower how much health everybody has, or if you want to go more intense, you could raise that. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my overall impression of the game is a good. It's a good. Yeah, it's a good game. It's fun to play. I'm not gonna sit and play like round after round after round of it myself, because it starts to fall off a little bit after extended play, because it does feel more like just that Yahtzee experience after a while. But the fact that there's a bunch of different characters that is really easy to teach, it's nice, it's easy to get to the table, and you can play this in 1v1 scenarios, you can play this in group scenarios. They have a targeting mechanic that we wouldn't have shown on our playthrough because it was a 1v1, but when you have 3 or 4 or 5 players, you don't actually get to choose who you're hitting. So that actually kind of takes away this Kingslayer aspect that a lot of games have in them. So my overall impression is a good one of this game. I like to bring it out. I like to teach it to new people, and I've actually run tournaments of it, which have gone over really well. So
I personally feel like, again, with limited play, I think maybe this shines the most. If you were going to have an evening of like moderately weighted games, and this would be a good addition to that. It's probably not something where I'd set aside like an entire evening, like you were saying, just playing it over and over. But certainly a wonderful addition if you're doing a bunch of shorter games.
Alrighty.
All right. So any final words?
No, I think we've probably summed it up. We had a good time playing it, and just a little review for you guys.
Okay, so thank you again for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.